Well, you didn't.
Yeah.
Cool. This is weird because when we put this up, this will be the start of the video, so maybe we should do stuff.
Well,
Stop!
just do your intro then. Go on.
He's
GarageBand's
doing
on.
his link as well. Yeah, my GarageBand's on. My GarageBand.
My GarageBand. No, okay, just no thanks.
Well, do you want an intro then?
Hold on.
I can intro.
Yeah. I've seen you intro.
I have to make sure we have the link.
It needs to be me. I'm
Wait,
the
hold
leader.
on, shush,
I'm
hold
the
on.
leader. No, shush. That's a bad chance.
Why can't I find the live video? How did I find the live video? Can you find it?
It's
Oh,
dead.
live now, there we are.
There we
Found
go.
it.
Let's take a second or two.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to
This
Raptors
is-
in the Kitchen.
this
This is
isn't
Tuesday,
gonna
the
be- don't know
8th
why
of
you're
July.
Can I continue to talk?
I am your host, Francisco Rodriguez,
Untrue.
and today, as always, I am joined with the lovely, lovely Paul Faulkner.
Thank you very much. It's
And
lovely
just the
to-
amount of order and everything, it's crazy talk.
No, why? Keep going.
It would be me.
Just ignore Mr.
Talk over
Bear.
it, talk
Yeah.
over him, and he'll go away.
How you doing? How you doing, Paul?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's lovely to have somebody who really actually cares and sounds sincere and excited to
Yeah.
be a part of the Raptors podcast. It's refreshing and it really puts me in a good mood for the whole show.
Well, thanks, Paul. That's a really good compliment.
Yeah. You know
Well,
what?
being better than Alan isn't difficult. And I'm also joined by the absolutely stunning Lauren Nimmo.
Oh, hi, Paco.
How you doing?
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm good. I've heard you've had a bad week, but let's
That's bad
hopefully
week,
next
but
hour we'll
it's
make it
going
better.
to keep. Everything's coming up Millhouse, so keep on going.
The extraordinary Tommy Bass.
How's it going, man? Might I say you're doing a swell job?
Yeah.
Sterling.
It was all quite upbeat until your how's it going, man, as well.
Well,
Do better.
okay. Ask me again.
How's it going, Tommy?
Hey, man, I am doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. I'm really happy to be here on Tuesday the 8th with these lovely people, and of course, I'll let you introduce the last but not least.
Yeah, I don't care. How's it going?
It's going well. I'll put up the link to the live stream on the Facebook. Everything is going according to plan. And now that silliness is over.
Are you going to do the real intro? Is that what it is?
Did you see the date? Did you get it
I
all?
did. I said it right
Yeah.
first time. I'm like some fucking amateur I can talk about.
So yeah, Raptors in the Kitchen. What is everyone up to?
Not much. I've had a week off work.
You saw a film at least.
Yeah, I did.
So you got that going.
My good friend Jordan Russell took me to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Because it was Paco's birthday.
Yeah,
Oh, we should talk about that. Did you have a nice birthday?
I did. For reasons I'm not going to go into.
Well, you got an awesome T-shirt.
I did. I got an
That
absolutely
was a good
excellent t-shirt.
What
Yeah.
t-shirt did you get back?
It's one saying "I'm most stupid," where like it's
Oh, the
Jordan
bottom
thumbs making the hand point at me, which is good.
Nice.
Dirty
Yeah, my
technology.
mate Jordan took us to see How to Train Your Dragon 2,
Nice.
which I'll talk about later, even though we talked about it last week,
Yeah.
because that's how I roll.
Laura also saw that, so you can
I
talk
did.
about it this week as well. Paul, have you not seen? You've not seen any films.
Or not.
You're
Yeah.
usually the good one.
What have I been up to this week? Nothing spectacular. I watched Game of Thrones season 4 yesterday.
Oh,
Yeah, one day.
Oh, wait,
no,
really? Did you do this with
Is
Steven?
this
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Yeah, I
marathon?
heard about
The
that.
Game of Thrones marathon, which has been like a tradition that has started because a couple of my friends hadn't seen season 1 and 2. I think it was in the lead up to season 3.
You count Steven as two friends?
No, but I count the other person that I watched it with as a second person and not just some subset of Stephen.
Okay.
So yeah, that was a lot of fun.
good thing it's on video because I just told
Just
myself.
Cool.
classic
himself.
OJ blunder.
That's good television, is what that is.
Actually, Paul, what happened with the dogs? What's the?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'd like to know part 2.
Do you want to know like Danny went off to work on Tuesday. It was my job to go and lock them up. Did I talk about? Yeah, I talked about the pet food.
Yeah, you talked about it extensively about this hell, yeah.
And so,
I like the choice of words there. I went to lock them up.
well, I locked them up. Had to go and we hadn't really cleaned poo from the garden for a couple of days, so like there was a lot.
Why do you let them do it in the garden?
I think it's just like they've been trained. That's where they go. I suppose. I don't know. Not my choice. I didn't know. Like better there than in the house. And it got to the day. Danny went off in the morning. I drove her to work, whatever else. And I was just with these dogs, and I had to go off. I had a job interview in the afternoon, and I kind of had to get back to the flat, and then I had to get out to Maryhill for this job interview. I'm just looking at the dogs, and I'm just like, gonna really miss you guys.
No. Yeah,
You're such a softie after what they put you through.
I was just like heartbroken. There are people
Like real, some kind of Stockholm syndrome.
yeah, real people who I've kind of gone like, I'm probably never going to see you again, and I've been less sad about saying goodbye to those people than I was those dogs on that morning.
Wow, I did not. That
It
was a
was-
plot twist I did not see coming.
And I was just like, fuck both of you dogs, fuck you both, dumb asshole dogs. But and then like for the first couple of days after that, anytime I see a dog walker, I'd kind of be like,
It looks
I know
like
your pain, I know your pain, bro. And like occasionally just want to take the lead out of their hands and just say, come with me, I'll do it for you, don't worry.
They're so much better than they are.
Yeah.
So when did you turn? When was like the moment of fuck these clowns?
There were actually like, it was Danny who'd had an idea. Like I think I spoke about, because it was the Sunday night that had been really off and I was knackered on the Monday when we did the Raptors last week. Danny had come up with the idea of like sitting in with them with their beds and like watch them go to bed. And like instead of just us locking ourselves in our room and being like bedtime, actually kind of calm them down with them, be kind of a physical presence. And whether it was because the dogs were exhausted because they'd been up all last night and we'd taken them on a long walks to try and wear them out, or whether this idea worked. The last night was like just they were absolutely fine. They stayed in bed all night, and then the walk was nice in the morning. And
So do you think this whole time it was just they wanted to get used to you now?
You had to
You were finally they're okay now, and now you have to go.
a little dog that could.
Yeah.
I don't know, but those feelings have now. I mean, that was Tuesday. Those feelings have now faded, and I'm just back to kind of being like, "Yep, thank goodness that's all over."
Do you ever see like dogs across a crowded street and you're like,
Is that?
yeah, and you're over.
Ryan,
Yeah.
Ryan,
It's like
I've got your gravy.
you're looking. It's the back of the wheel, and it turns around. It's like it's not the dog.
It's actually a person. It's a little girl.
Hold on, the dog isn't really called Brian, is it?
Yeah, what a
Oh,
bad name.
no.
Yeah.
Right?
What's the other one called?
What's his full name?
Well, that might give away
Yeah,
the
no,
owner
yeah,
stuff.
no.
Like, what's the other one called?
Lily. Which.
Brian and Lily.
Yeah, very plain, very.
Very boring names.
Not for pugs. I would imagine they're quite exotic names for pugs.
But that ended, and since then I've been recovering mostly, I think. No, not a whole lot. Yeah, did Game of Thrones. It was good to rewatch that season. That is like one of the most packed
It's one of the best
seasons of
Yeah.
anything ever. Just punch.
Oof. What's it?
Exhausting.
Yep.
A dog-related story.
Please.
I heard. I mean, we were singing DMX tunes for some reason.
Who's
at work. There was me.
Doesn't matter who it was, no one knows they are. Just continue.
Okay. And they were like, DMX went to jail, and I was like, yeah, was it like? I was like, yeah, I heard about that.
No way, come on.
And I was like, yeah, what was it? What for was it? I don't know. Was he batter somebody or
Taxi.
whatever?
Animal cruelty.
And apparently it's not. It was animal cruelty. He was breeding pit bull dogs to fight each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Holy shit!
I mean, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
He's DMX.
Yeah. Arr.
Yeah,
But still, I was like, that's fucking horrendous. Not why, that was the last.
Does
thing I could
it
have
does it
thought.
mean you're never going to listen to his music ever again?
I think he also went to jail for like concealed weapon or stuff like that. And like,
See, that's what I was like. No, it was something to do with a weapon. But
I think maybe he's been multiple times.
okay.
He
Well,
doesn't seem like a good guy.
but it's that way, right? See, if you're like an internationally recognized rapper and celebrity, why would you do something like that? It's like you're going to get found out. What?
Yeah.
It's just. It's
I mean,
so
not
fucking
only
dumb.
does he not seem like a good guy, he seems like a bit of an idiot as well.
Well,
Yeah.
clearly.
And that's really the
Yeah.
insulting thing, isn't it? That's really. I mean, you can take an asshole as long as he's kind of charming or
Yeah.
cunning or.
Like Kanye.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, Kanye's entertaining at least. He is an idiot and he is an asshole, but like at least
So is DMX is also entertaining. Have you watched what the fuck is it
X
called?
Gon'
X Gon' Give It To You video?
several things.
And his version of In the Air
Funny
Tonight
as
is very funny.
Like, what was the one he did for was it Friday Night Lights?
No, you're thinking of Cradle to Grave.
No, there was one that was like a football one where like the song was like
Oh no,
No,
it
you're
was
thinking Marlon
it was
Manson's
any
picture.
given it was Any Given Sunday.
Any Given Sunday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
That's
know,
not
I know
much
what it's called, but I don't think I can really say it.
It's like some like this Big Willie style or something.
That is
What?
Will
That's
Smith.
Will
No,
Smith.
but it's something like that. It's like the character's name's Willie that's playing.
Willie Beeman,
That's the one.
but Jamie Foxx sings that himself.
Does he?
Yes, but I know you're in the right film. You're in the wrong person and song. But you're at
Oh,
least
what a three,
you're
yeah.
at least in that world. Well,
At least.
well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of times you'll be like, oh, that, and it's like, no, you're way off.
Change your subject. What were we talking about?
We were talking about
DMX.
I was talking about a dog-related story. That's
Yeah.
all.
Right.
Dogs and that. Well, that's the preamble.
Also,
Nose time.
I know, did you then? You want to talk about?
learn about why DMX went to jail. No, not really. No.
What were you, Laura?
Oh,
Just a shake of the
I
head.
started watching season 3 of 30 Rock because I've not seen it all.
Yeah, 30 Rock is probably the only.
My God, you got loud.
It's probably.
30 Rock.
I think it's the only consistently funny US comedy show that never dips.
I don't know. I quite like Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I seem to remember season 4. I found being like I didn't watch. I have 1 to 4, and I seem to remember 4 being like just not as good, just not quite clicking as well. And like I can't even really remember any big plot
I
points.
mean,
or
that
anything
might be
happening,
just
but-
from fatigue of
Yeah,
watching
maybe,
it, but
yeah,
I think if you jumped straight into season 4,
You'd
you would
still
still think
enjoy
it
it.
was great.
See,
Yeah.
like watching season 3, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I am very entertained, but right now I'm like, well, you've seen one episode of 30 Rock, you've seen them all, and it's a pleasure to watch Alec Baldwin. He's just really funny. But yeah,
I think the whole cast are
Yeah, I
great.
think that's weird that you're picking out like
Yeah.
one person in that show.
Well, I mean,
you don't
well,
think Tina Fey quite annoying in it?
no,
I
no,
think
not at
it's
all.
great.
well, the reason that
Jason
happened
Morgan's
Paul, was
great, yeah.
I was in the middle of a sentence and I got interrupted.
Shot down.
So as well as Alec Baldwin, yes, everybody is very fun, but I still
I don't think
think
that's where that sentence was going. I don't mean to cut you in again. I don't mean to.
I just
How do you think the sentence was going to go, Paul? Let's have you finish
It's a
Tommy's sentence.
pleasure.
Well, I think that the sentence is going to go in this sentence.
Is that what you think it was? Well, I'm going to interrupt as well.
This has been going on for a long time.
But yeah, so I didn't really do a lot. I learned about DMX's jail time and watched 30 Rock.
Thanks, Tom.
It was a nice week. And
Riveting.
I had to put up with Paco's shite, but that's every week.
Oh. We also we did watch a movie-related documentary.
We watched Room
Right.
237.
Shite.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
I wasn't even talking about that one, but we did watch that, which just put us both
Oh,
totally.
you talking about Ray Harryhausen?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was excellent.
Well, that sounds more interesting.
yeah.
than
Ray
It was
Harryhausen,
excellent.
visual effects titan.
Yeah.
It's a guy who did all the stop motion stuff and pretty much every old movie.
Yeah, think of any
Right.
monster movie from the 50s
Jason Argonauts,
onwards.
Sinbad.
He was
all those
responsible for it. And watching some of the old movies in that, it was astonishing. You're like, this still holds
Still
up.
looks
Like
good.
Jason the Argonauts still looks good. The bit where they fight the skeleton.
Like the
What
amount of
it was
effort that they put into it was unbelievable.
Yeah, when you think about when you talk about testing someone's patience and in terms of like complete focus on what they have to do, I mean, like with computers and that, it's like you can direct a character and you've got time to do that. You just save your work. But with Ray Harryhausen, he was in like a room for hours and hours having to make sure that like a dinosaur lined up with something else and would react to the actors talking to it. It was really
So
really good.
the thing that got me about it was I didn't really realise how much he'd influenced all the kind of newer
Yeah, like
picture feature stuff. Like they did all
Peter
the stuff like showing you.
Jackson, Tim Burton.
They would show you like an action sequence out of one of his old movies, and then straight after that they would show you an action sequence from something like Starship Troopers or Peter Jackson's King Kong, and the way it's shot, like although the technology is like so far advanced, the way it's shot is like so similar.
Yeah. Have you got to the bit, you will definitely have actually, in Parks and Rec, where
I finished it.
Ben is trying to do his little stop motion animation.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I watched that consistently and finished it. Paco kind of jumped in that bit and we both were laughing our
Yeah.
asses off, and I felt so bad for him because it was like that was 3 weeks work.
And I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, but no, it was really really good. Just the appreciation and commitment to because a lot of folk, you talk about a David Fincher movie. Like, you always refer to the director, but see back then there always known as Ray Harryhausen films, even though he didn't direct them.
Yeah, like I suppose maybe that'd be the equivalent of saying, "Oh, it's an ILM movie."
Yeah,
You never do that,
No,
Well, I do kind of do that sometimes with Weta Workshop. Like for me, like things like District 9 and stuff like that, the thing that stands out about
Yeah.
them is Weta Workshop's input.
Yeah, I guess, but I would be cautious thinking that. But no, that sounds cool.
It was excellent.
So on this week's show, we'll have reviews of Picturing Your Dragon 2, Transformers: Age of Extinction, and
AIDS of Extinction.
Age of Extinction. I can't say Extinction now. And Tammy.
Yeah.
Paul, you want to say something? I thought your hand was coming up to be like. But first, so let's look at some news. There's not a lot of news. Star Wars cast 2 unknown people. I'm guessing this is the people coming out of those editions they had, like
It was.
worldwide.
I think one of them's from Glasgow.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Hold
well,
on, check this out.
I think it was an American actress who studied in Glasgow.
Right. Well, they were called, and they still are called, presumably.
Whoa!
Crystal Clark and Pip Anderson.
I would say Pip, probably from Glasgow. If I know anything about our.
My name's Pip.
Crystal Clark.
Crystal Clark.
That
Yeah.
sounds like a made-up name.
I mean, already, right? This movie has more women and black people than their entire other 6 movies combined.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah, it
It
does.
had Lando before.
Okay, one.
And
That's
Leia.
one black person and one woman. This has a black woman in it, so that's
Leia
already
black?
like matching it.
How was that?
2 black women, yeah.
Look,
So,
you thinking about how Leia's black.
Amidala.
No.
Yeah.
It's like one woman per trilogy.
No, because like they had
You could-
Amidala's stunt woman.
Keira Knightley.
No, the woman was it Keira Knightley?
It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
Keira
yeah,
Knightley.
yeah.
Double,
And then there's one Mothma.
And then you've got the really racist bad guys.
Yeah, like
with
her,
their
her
aliens.
New Zealand bodyguard guy was
Captain
not
Panaka.
white.
Why are you? It's okay. What? Okay, so what? Yeah, Jimmy Smits, I guess, as well. You know, but still, I mean, you know what we're
I mean, I
talking
was
about.
exaggerating.
Hear that? Your
Yeah.
joke
I know.
is factually inaccurate.
Yes,
Sorry,
Stop.
man, how dare you make some kind of whimsical joke about Star Wars? You know, the pedant movies.
Yeah, but 67,000 people applied, and yeah, these are the lucky 2.
How
Which
do you even cut down there? How do you even pick 2
Like,
words?
just being that it's Star Wars, I was expecting more than that. Like, you'd think every actor going to be like, give me a shot of that.
Well, I mean, this is just the kind of the unknowns who applied, I guess. I guess everyone in Hollywood probably did want a part in the
Piece of that pie.
yeah, piece of that star pie. Andy Serkis, no, not Andy Serkis. Matt Reeves has been talking about how Andy Serkis got cast. He was saying that he phoned up J.J. Abrams to have him have a look at the early Planet of the Apes stuff that he was doing, just to kind of get some advice stuff. And instead of like saying advice, he just said, "I want your actor." Like he was so impressed by Andy Serkis was doing. And Andy Serkis has now also went on to get a role in the Avengers, presumably doing Hulk stuff.
Maybe, yeah.
But I don't know. Mark
Someone else.
Ruffalo did all that stuff like himself. Maybe he's just a
Well,
consultant.
yeah, there might be some ace in the hole we don't know about.
Yeah.
So Amanda's Gollum.
The newest Avenger. And Kevin Smith was talking about how he got also invited to the set, and I mean,
Avengers,
you
sorry.
may, yeah, sorry, no, Star Wars.
Star Wars.
I mean, this might come as a surprise, but Kevin Smith's a big Star Wars fan.
What?
When?
Well, wait.
I don't know, recently.
He was supposed to make a TV series, wasn't he? That it fell through and all that stuff.
I think a lot of people have
You're supposed to
do a lot of Star Wars stuff, yeah. But yeah, he was just fucking freaking out about it, saying there's actual things you can actually touch. It's not a green screen. I'm having a orgasm. over it.
I'm still keeping myself just off the hype train for it.
He also got this is like as a Star Wars fan for him. This is cool. There was like an X-wing that had like Commander Smith call sign silent like put on it. So that's a pretty cool thing to have.
But then Ensign were also Jedi's, so.
George Lucas is not in charge, so keep that in mind.
What else we got? We were speaking of Tina Fey a second ago. The story comes in 2 parts. The first half of the week, it was rumoured that she was going to do a sequel to Hocus Pocus.
Okay.
Okay.
She came out and shot that down and said it's not a sequel to Hocus Pocus. It's
A reboot.
it's a comedy about witches by Disney, but it's like no way related to Hocus Pocus. She said it's a lot more the tone of Ghostbusters is what she was saying.
Alright.
But I mean, I know if Tina Fey comedy, I'm totally on board for.
Hocus Pocus.
But no, they're all very old now.
Yeah.
The idea of those witches is that they don't age, right?
I doubt they would cast the same people again.
They, well, odds to you, they might want to.
But it's not Hocus Pocus anyway. Although Hocus Pocus is very good.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember still enjoying it.
And Doug Jones is in it. It's always good to see Doug Jones.
Sarah Jessica Parker looks kind of normal.
Was the other one? I'm going to get it wrong. Was it Bette Midler?
Yeah.
Bette Midler
Yeah.
and Kathy Najimy.
But
She's
you
also
say
his sister.
Barbara Streisand because I always get those two mixed up.
No, I was going
Is
to
that
say
because- Actually, why is that? They both sing, they both act.
Yeah,
They're both female.
both thing with a B.
Right.
That's my reason.
That is it.
Yeah.
That's my reason.
Disney are planning on doing Enchanted too.
That's not-
I'm amazed it's taken so long.
Yes,
that's
but-
the big spoiler there.
None of the original cast have been signed on to return. Don't know if they're going to try and get them on, but Amy Adams is all like getting nominated for Oscars and stuff nowadays.
She probably do. Like, I thought she was excellent. In
No, yeah, I
Enchanted.
thought Enchanted was really pretty good. But it's going to be written by the folks that wrote The Smurfs
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
and Shrek 2. Which, I mean, Shrek 2 is
Shrek 2 is
good. but then you put the Smurfs on top of that, and that's not good.
No, it's not.
Who was the James Marsden? Was the
Prince.
the good the kid?
Yeah, the prince.
Not the good prince. He was the.
But just
the
Prince
fairy tale
Charming.
Yeah,
prince.
he was the fairy tale prince. Who played
Yeah.
the normal guy?
Patrick
Patrick
Dempsey.
Dempsey.
Yeah.
Is he McDreamy?
Yes,
Dr.
yeah,
McDreamy?
yeah.
He's rubbish.
Who's
What?
McDreamy?
From
Grey's
Grey's
Anatomy.
Anatomy.
Why is he called? He's not called that. He was
No,
that's
it's not
not
true.
right.
That is-
Why McDreamy?
Because he's handsome.
Yeah.
So they don't know his name. So he's
Why
McDreamy.
Mick?
Because it's
He's
cute.
Irish.
It's
Oh.
just like
Is that what it, all right.
just
Like
a
they might have called
McDonald's,
him Dr.
Happy
Dreamy.
Meal.
Donald isn't cute.
But like it's you want a McDonald's. That's like you're always looking for McDonald's.
I
So it's
suppose
McDreamy.
McDonald's.
Yeah, there you go. It's just a fun little.
Have you seen the new Happy
Suppose
Meal?
Mick Whopper has
Terrifying.
different connotations.
Seen the new Happy Meal box?
No.
It's terrifying.
It's weird looking.
No.
It's big, fair, crazy eyes, and it's like.
Mm.
It's more like a demented box.
Yeah, honestly, I'll show you.
I don't care. I actually don't care.
Okay, fair enough. If you're listening, go check it out. It's weird looking. And Paul, this is where you step up to the plate since you've not seen any movies.
Hello.
Fright Fest lineup has been announced.
Yes.
Do you want the list?
What's been announced?
Um,
Or do you know the list?
I mean, I've had it spoken about to me. Generally, I don't look at the Fright Fest stuff because I'm not going to it. So, you know, it means so
Who your
that
nearest and dearest presumably is.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, she is, and that was a nightmare for her. She was incredibly stressed.
Aye.
The way she got, because they all went online at 12 o'clock. You were supposed to be able to buy them either over the website or over the phone. Of course, the website crashes because it's a
course,
new
yeah.
cinema. Spend 45 minutes on the phone while at work in the back while there's only one other person out front.
I'm sure
Then
they
you're
all saw
shot.
that day.
Yeah. She's sitting with her computer open on her mobile phone, finally gets through on the phone, and the person on the other end says, "You can't buy over the phone. I don't know why anybody's been told this. I'm really sorry." And fortunately, somebody she knows in London, like, there's the Sleepy Queue film where if you stay overnight and you get your ticket at the box office the first thing, they then do a movie for you for free, which is quite a nice, like, little bonus thing.
Yeah.
And somebody was coming out and saw Danny's tweets kind of being like, "Rah!" And they said, "Well, I'm at the box
What,
office."
a friend of hers or just some
No, well, like somebody, I mean, very vaguely
Yeah.
knows.
Twitter friend?
Yeah, that kind of thing. And they were like,
That's really
"I'll-
nice.
Yeah, I'll go in and buy your ticket if you want."
Wow.
And so she's now got to go and meet them in person,
Yeah.
get the ticket. So she hopes they're not.
Okay, I'll take back that. That's very nice until I know she's
Until
not.
she's not
a crazy
there.
person.
Yeah, in some London dumpster.
Yeah, I was going to
somewhere.
say, like, so she's going to go down on the day or the night before and like, just like, yeah, thank you for my ticket.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Go and sing some karaoke. I think some bar
Okay.
locally does a big karaoke night.
I was doing karaoke.
Is she
there.
into karaoke?
Yeah. Pardon?
Is she into karaoke?
She likes she likes to sing, but I don't know how in that sort of formal.
Like in the bathtub?
Let's sing. Yeah. While doing dishes or whatever.
Me and my friend did It Wasn't Me by Shaggy.
That would
And
be
the deal was I would do like the singy bits and he would do the Shaggy rappy bits. But then when it came to the Shaggy rappy bits, the lyrics just said rap 30 seconds. No one knows what Shaggy says, apparently even karaoke programmers.
the professionals, the people who need to know.
Someone cashed in that check.
I know.
Are we getting the actual YouTube comments here?
No, that's all.
Oh, gibberish.
Yeah, that's massive.
Yeah. Cross my hopes. Though I did get a tweet there telling me to get off my phone. Ironically, it was because I was checking your tweet.
Anything noteworthy just jumping out about Fright Fest?
Not that I noticed. The guest is hinted. I don't even. Sorry, I've let you down thoroughly. You should have let me know I was to talk about this.
Sorry.
There's some kind of party thing they're doing, which sounded quite interesting.
I mean, I've got a full thing here. Like,
Go ahead.
they're retrospective. Let's do that because they're doing restored versions of The Shining,
Okay.
and The Shining's
Which is
excellent.
quite cool, yeah.
Wes Craven's Nightmare on Elm Street.
That's a
Okay.
re-release for the 30th anniversary, I think, or something. There's some kind of
Yeah, it
anniversary.
is 30th.
Yeah.
Jorg Budgerites, don't know who that guy is, but apparently did a film called Necromantic. You don't know what that is?
That's like quite a big deal that's coming out because I think it's Blu-ray for maybe the first proper full release is
What is
coming out.
that?
Some old, really nasty, gory, sort of partially banned type movie.
Was it one of the video nasties with like the early 80s, late 70s?
I don't know if it. I don't know if it was actually
Alright,
one of them or
just when you
it's
said like they're nearly banned, but I
I
mean,
don't know enough about it.
do we still get like a lot of horror movies that get banned?
I don't think that happens anymore.
They just refuse to, like, they just say they refuse to pass them. They don't ban them anymore. It's just like, no.
And it's a lot
And
more
that's what's
negotiation of
Yeah.
let's
and forwards,
cut this
yeah.
out. Let's cut. I mean, that's why I'm with Human Centipede 2.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of
You see, like, if you did do that and you just didn't budge and, like, forced their hand to ban your film, like, that would be a great marketing technique.
Yeah.
It wouldn't happen though.
But
They couldn't legally sell it, so.
But that's why, like, a lot of, like, sorry, Paco, like in the late 70s, early 80s, you got things like I Spit in Your Grave. The Evil Dead was banned, and again, that did wonders for that, and they became cult classics.
Yeah, it did wonders for it in the long run because it
Yeah.
became a cult film, but like the box office for that must have obviously sucked dick.
Really bad,
But then you've got round about that time you've got the video market as well, which would have done alright for itself. But again, bear in mind, The Evil Dead was a reasonably cheap movie to make, as were I'd say a lot of those kind of films. So
I think
box office
just
would
the
be
general
okay.
pressure from the studios to make things 12A is probably your kind of worst
Yeah.
enemy there.
Well, that's what happened with the Expendables 3.
The one thing which Danny said was there's a lack of found footage, and
that's a good thing.
Are they not? So they're moving away from that, then that's.
rape
that's
revenge maybe I think were the two. There was a second
There's
thing.
a lack of rape revenge.
Just the last couple of years, there's been like quite a lot of like a girl who is forced her hand, blah blah blah. And she,
In terms of found footage, though, I mean, that's for found footage, the best genre is with horror, because you're making a film with a genre that is, like, in terms of it, has got a huge trend, a huge following, and you're making it for peanuts. And
It's overdone though.
It's completely overdone. But again, if you are trying to break into the horror the horror genre, or even just into mainstream cinema, and you have no money and you want to make something for peanuts, it's like that's your answer.
Okay. See, on the subject of lineups and things being announced, you were telling me earlier in the week, Laura, that the GFT are showing a bunch of Studio Ghibli stuff. Is it in August?
Yeah, it's in August.
Which
It's
is like it's Howl's Moving
it's
Castle,
Howl's,
Mononoke, and
Spirited
Spirited Away.
Away.
That's pretty cool.
That's excellent. Yeah.
There's all your regular prices.
Yeah, it's just
It's
normal
a-
price. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Right?
We'll be watching Totoro pretty soon.
It will be.
What do you mean?
It's the film club entry.
Have they already? I've got it in Blu-ray.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Can we borrow it? We're open for Blu-ray. Great.
Sweet.
That's a live revelation right here for anyone who comes to our film club. Some good names here for these four horror movies. This one actually, this is a funny word, but it's not like a funny name. The Babadook. We watched a trailer for that, didn't we? It was like a New Zealand kind of mythical ghost story. And it's like a woman who kidnaps babies, but she's a ghost. It's called the Babadook.
Okay. Yep. Yes.
You don't remember this?
No, I don't remember that.
Anyone remember this?
No.
We all watched it.
I was too busy thinking about, like, the more you talk there, the more Paul Faulkner started doing a Robert De Niro impression, where his face just starts screwing up and screwing up and screwing up.
You see the mole appearing?
Yeah.
White Settlers. That sounds like a good name for it. The House at the End of Time.
That's
That sounds good, doesn't it?
I was just used to the end of the street. Never mind.
I know,
Time.
right?
Gee whiz.
A little twist at the end there.
Lemon Tree Passage.
None of these are films I've not
Wait,
even.
what?
What's the White Settlers? Is that something to do with the Pilgrims?
I can only imagine.
There's one Wolf Cop.
Oh my god,
Sounds
really?
good. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
Is that like,
Like that's not a horror though, is it? That is a comedy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it'll probably be kind of your B movie type
Yeah.
purposely.
Well, the like
Because again,
Black Sheep and stuff like that.
loyal listener Lindsay Forrest, I think it was her husband put up the whole I want to see
Oh
Wolf
yeah,
Cop.
yeah. I knew I'd seen it somewhere
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, if you want the poster looks great.
Like
and
it's
when you-
essentially just a Dirty Harry poster, but with
Yeah, the
makeup
poster's
on.
very fun and the idea is fun. The trailer not so much.
Zombievers?
nah.
I don't
Nah,
know. These are films
already
which I
know.
even remember being mentioned to me.
Altergeist? This is a funny weird.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Is it like a shape-shifting ghost?
Like different ghosts.
Yeah, like Altered Beast. Anyone remember Altered Beast?
Everyone
that
remembers
fucking
Beast.
game was brick hard, man.
your grave. Yeah, I never got past like the third level.
It was too fucking hard.
The third level was when you turned into a dragon.
Yeah, it was like
The coolest one.
it had the same
Yeah.
principles of Golden Axe. Like the more you collected, the better a beast you became. But it was still.
No, it wasn't. It was just
I mean,
whichever level you
Yeah,
were on.
different level.
You became a different
I
beast.
thought it was
It was,
like
no, you would collect
you had to
one orb,
collect,
you
like-
become like a big buff dude, then collect like another orb, become an even bigger buffer dude, then the third one it would be
But if you lost,
the beast.
but was it not a case of if like you got not killed? Was it not that you get killed? But if like you would go back to be nothing, and then you get back to the start that level, and then you like right first orb back to bulky guy, and then like by the time you got to the end of the level, but you'd already died. You couldn't beat the full beast because you'd missed a couple orbs.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, but the actual monster you became depended on the level.
Whereas Golden Axe was it not like the
Golden
more
Axe
stuff
was just like
the more stuff
the
you
more
collected.
magic you had, the stronger you
Yeah,
attack
the more
was.
powers you
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
And then there was those little goblins who stole
again
stuff at
Golden
night.
Axe.
But every
fucking
power
hard.
was just its raining meteorites because that's all the
And the women had that one with the ring of fire came around and shot
Oh,
the
yeah,
girls and stuff.
I remember that.
And I think
The wee dwarf with lightning.
yeah.
Okay, so I was wrong.
Yep, you were way off.
Again.
They remade that, they kind of rebooted it for the 360 and the PS3, and it was garbage.
I remember that. That's all I've got to say.
Thanks for chiming in.
And that was really all the news I've got. It's been a short.
There has been talks of, you remember before when Prometheus was coming out, Guillermo del Toro had to shelve The Mountains of Madness.
Yeah.
There's talk of like they're trying to get some heat behind that again because they're saying like we want to do it. Are
But
you
he's a
available?
busy guy though.
He is a busy guy, but God, I would love to see that. Given the premise of the story and given him behind it, because you remember one of the things he came out and says, I don't want to do it because there's already a film coming out like that by a respected director,
Yeah.
and I can't wait to see it. And then when that, shit sandwich came out, it's like, do you know what, Guillermo? Let's rethink the idea because you could probably do something like that a bit better. So I would love for that, but there's big talks about that.
I mean, so he's got
Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim 2.
Mhm.
People keep talking about Hellboy 3.
Hellboy 3.
Again, though, they were talking about he'd love to do Hellboy 3, but he doesn't make enough box office with it.
But I know Ron Perlman really wants to do it as
Ron
well.
Perlman, like on IMDb, it's kind of like.
I'd kind of like to see him going back to do like a proper Spanish film again.
When was that? I suppose the last kind of horror film we did was, and they didn't even direct it, but it was
Hostage.
Don't be afraid of the dark.
Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. is what
I was
thinking
thinking
of,
more
yeah.
of like just
You talk about
the-
Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, Pan's
Devil's-
Labyrinth.
That's
the
Devil's
last one.
Backbone and stuff.
Yeah, Pan's Labyrinth is the last one he directed,
But like
isn't it?
Kronos, The Devil's Backbone, and Pan's Labyrinth are all fucking excellent films.
Yeah,
like
I
enough
mean-
to make me like pretty much a fan of his, even through all his
Yeah.
western stuff that I'm
Yeah,
not like,
I mean,
too keen on.
I like Mimic and I like Hellboy, but they're nothing on. I mean, because the other ones are so personal, and you can tell. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, he puts 100% effort into everything. I mean, Pacific Rim was fucking cool and I loved it, but there was just something about his Spanish language
They were
films.
just
They were
better.
just, they were, yeah, it's like I'd like to see more of that as well. But again, hey, I want to see Pacific Rim 2 as well, and I'm so fucking glad it's happening.
What I've only seen Pan's Labyrinth and Devil's Backbone out of those two Spanish ones.
Right.
Out of the three Spanish ones.
Kronos is excellent.
It's Kronos, like, because Devil's
Kronos
Backbone.
is the oldest one.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, surprisingly old is like early 90s.
Yeah,
I didn't realize he'd been around for
Like,
that
see,
long.
as long as you're aware of that going into it, then
Yeah.
you're probably going to end up liking it. But like, it's so old to the point where you can tell it's one of his earliest films.
But like,
But what an achievement!
Yeah.
Devil's Backbone and Pan's Labyrinth are like really similar. Like they're like sister movies, like in terms of style and like themes and all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff.
Kronos is
similar.
it's
to
a
that.
bit different. Like, it still follows.
It's
Like
the point
a
of view of a
child.
child. Yeah, that's
And there's still like a lot of dark elements to it. But like,
yeah.
it's not a kind of.
Is it
Well, I
about,
suppose Pan's Labyrinth isn't a ghost story
is it
either.
about distant parents?
Well, he doesn't have
Well, it's
parents.
about,
Like, he
it's about
kind of.
losing kind of like a kind of mentor figure, like a grandfather,
Yeah.
kind of becomes
It's like
vampire.
the whole film is about like obsession and greed
Yeah.
and about
addiction.
like addiction and how this kind of man learns to care for the kid more than he cares about himself. So the addiction, kind of becomes a secondary thing.
But yeah,
It's treating vampirism as an addiction, which is
Yeah.
kind of what True
Well,
Blood
she-
did like
Yeah.
a couple of decades later, but they made it
But
raunchy.
But again, like this, it's such a fresh look at. If you want to call it a vampire film, it's such a fresh look at it, and it's done again. Like Ron Perlman's in it as well, and it's like you only got a little bit, but it's just done so well. The same way that you can understand why those three movies come usually in a trilogy and a box set because these are three movies because they're from a point of view of a kid and a lot of like horrific stuff happens.
Does Ron Perlman speak Spanish?
Yeah,
Yeah.
a bit. Yeah. It's really funny.
Bueno.
It does.
Um,
See,
anything else?
just on a similar note, like again, this has nothing to do with anything recent. But I know that Tommy hasn't seen the Darren Aronofsky movie Pie.
Neither have I.
You've not? It's on Netflix. Well, it's on US Netflix. Get it watched.
Okay.
It is one of those things where, like,
Is that in order?
yeah, it is. Like, loving films as much as you guys love films, it's actually a fucking shame you haven't seen that. I'm ashamed of you, is what I mean to say.
Well, alright.
Have you seen Requiem for a Dream?
No.
No.
There's never a moment, there's never a time
Yeah,
in my
I want
life
to
where
watch
I'm like, yeah, I'm in the mood to sit
There
down and
never
watch
That
will
it.
is
be.
true, but like, you need to watch it because it's a good film.
I know. I saw it here, yeah.
What about The Fountain? Have you seen that?
Yeah, we watched that
Way
for
back
the show.
when.
Yeah, for the show.
But yeah, watch those other two. Get them done.
Okay.
They're important movies. You seen them, Paul?
Did you watch The Fountain? You and Lowell? Like,
That
we weren't
was
here for that,
pre
right?
us, yeah. Only Sean.
I think you especially.
Even
think
then, I
a lot
watched
of
that. I
time.
know Sean watched that.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if any of you will like Requiem for a Dream. Like I think you'll appreciate it as a good movie.
But yeah,
But,
it's a different
It's
thing from
depressing as
enjoyment.
fuck, but it's good.
I bought it to watch it, and it's been sitting on my DVD shelf for maybe 2 years now. Just that kind of just occasionally take it out, look at it, and then put it back and go up to date.
It is an absolute accomplishment of cinematography and filmmaking in general. But it will, if you're having a shit day, it will make your day worse. If you're having a good day, you'll be having a bad day after it. It's a great movie.
That's you've sold me.
There you go. You know what you can think about your dogs when you're watching it.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
lost forgotten dogs.
Yeah, look out the window.
This is just something I've just seen on the news website. The headline just reads Transformers/G.I. Joe crossover as a possibility.
Nope, that sounds like a slow news day.
Yeah.
How dare they pollute
Well,
the
being-
awesome G.I. Joe?
I mean, it's still early. But if anyone else has anything to bring up news-wise, let it be
No,
known.
that's all I'd say.
I'm going to jump straight into the.
Was that Forever Hold Your Peace?
We jump straight into the reviews then.
Go.
Right, let's start with How to Train Your Dragon 2 then, since you only saw it this week and Laura wasn't here last week.
Yep. And
And I'll join as well, because I've been the only one that's seen something. It's kind of hard to talk about without getting a conversation going.
What would be Laura have seen it?
Yeah, but last week I was the one that had seen it.
No, I've seen it.
So, anyway,
Yeah, I'd seen
let's
it.
not dwell on that. So, I thought it was really good straight off the bat. Like, from the opening sequence, the first third of the film is really lively, really engaging, looks amazing. Like, you said that you didn't really care for the 3D effects in it.
No.
Like, I watched it in IMAX and I thought the 3D effects were excellent.
No.
Nope, wrong.
Like, most of the film is absolutely what it should be. I think that the only criticisms I could level at it are that in the kind of middle section it becomes just a bit too hammy and too slow. Like, specifically when
When you have that wee dance.
that song and dance part was the low point of the whole film for me. But it didn't last too long. It was like maybe 10 minutes of boredom.
I feel like
Picks back up
they
again.
even knew that because they kept having Craig Ferguson's character, like, can I say
Yeah.
something like, hey, it's not a comedy, everybody remember that way.
But for the most part, absolutely excellent. Exactly what I wanted it to be. Toothless is adorable. All things good. Like, the design of all the dragons is brilliant. Like, the animation is excellent. Like, the ice looked fantastic.
Yeah.
Which is an odd comment to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
You would have appreciated the ice had you stayed and watched Frozen.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, you got to talk
Yeah.
about some good weather physics in a movie.
but I didn't. So
I'll
No.
give you Frozen to watch.
You won't watch it.
I'm not gonna watch
Why
it.
not? It's
Too
great.
much singing.
It's not for him.
You remember how you
It's hard
got
to-
the Blu-ray
watch.
for Singing in the Rain? You won't
No.
watch it
I
without.
will watch Singing in the Rain. I almost watched that today, but it was sunny outside and didn't feel right.
So you see, when we don't have anything watching Netflix again, we'll be scrolling, and then he stops on My Little Pony, and I'm like, no, I'm not
Oh, like
watching
Friendship
this.
is Magic.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
I'm not
One of
watching
these
this.
days, Tom, we're gonna end up.
And he's like, well, what was Singing in the Rain? You in the mood for that? I'm like, no. So yeah.
One of
Hell
these
of a
days,
cheek. Watch Frozen.
one of these days, My Little Pony's getting watched.
Well, you should watch Adventure Time if you don't want to watch.
We do watch
Time.
Adventure Time,
Mhm.
and you like that, and the comedy's supposed to be similar.
Watch Frozen.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, I'm missing out. It's really
I watched like half an hour of it. It was rubbish. Like, I don't get why the internet loves it so much.
Here's what I don't get.
Gee, the internet. It's the most successful animated movie ever
Exactly.
made.
You like animated movies.
Love them,
You like music.
love it.
Throw them together.
No.
What do you get?
What's your beat
Well,
with
do you
that?
like older Disney animation like
Yeah,
musicals
I
like
love
Aladdin
Aladdin.
and stuff like that?
Fucking love Aladdin.
I know.
The Jungle Book before they launched it was like my favourite animated movie of all
Is it
time.
because Frozen's too girly? Is that
No,
the
it's just because like all these older Disney movies,
Uh-huh.
they talk for a bit, then there's a song. They talk for a bit, then there's a song. Frozen starts off with a song. They say about 2 lines of dialogue. There's a song. There's like a line of dialogue, then a song. Then there's another song. Then there was a song about how she wants a man. I was like, I'm out. this whole movie's about her wanting fucked. I don't want to see it.
There only is about 5 songs in the movie, though, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they're just a lot of them up front.
Yeah.
I couldn't be doing with it. So I'll
You
never
also
watch.
didn't watch enough of that film.
I know. I heard that after the fact.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
that was like, it was at that point when
Yeah.
all she was doing was singing about how great it'd be to have a husband. I was like, I'm done with this film.
Yeah.
Like I'm not watching the rest
There's
of it.
not been enough here to even
Yeah.
tempt me to stay.
And then afterwards, I heard that like that totally backfires and she gets egg in her face. So like, I'm all about that.
And there's also like Arrested Development references in there and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
The chicken
That's,
heads.
that's a bit odd.
Everybody finishes their sandwiches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like half of me is kind of tempted. Half of me, exactly 50%. To kind of go back and watch it, but at the same time, I just keep thinking
There's that
about
other 50% and
the other 50% is like just play video games. They're better.
Video games are better than Frozen. Did
Exactly.
you watch the video of the Let It Go Mass Effect mashup?
No.
I left it on your page. You should go and watch it.
Okay.
It's very good.
I will watch it.
Even just the image is like Femme Chef's head on like Elsa's body, and it's like it's a really well written song and stuff.
Did you know?
You would find it funny had you seen Frozen, but you've only
Well, I mean, like I've seen the bit of Frozen that made that Shining sketch funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
Did you know that it was Clint Mansell that did the music for Mass Effect 3?
no, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
No.
like
Which is weird because that's the kind of thing I would have looked up.
like see the bit when Shepard is leaving Earth in Mass Effect 3.
Yeah.
That
Aye.
song is literally called "Leaving Earth" by Clint Mansell.
Maybe I looked it up, but I didn't know who Clint Mansell was at the time looking it up because that game's like what 3 or 4 years old.
Some of that.
He's got a gig in Glasgow in a couple of months. So you
Yeah,
got
we jumping.
you may
Will
want
be.
about that.
It'll be that amazing tune from the Sunshine trailer on repeat for an hour and a half.
And it'll be Glasgow, so the crowd will all be shouting, "Here we, here we, here we fucking go."
Yeah, I hate Glasgow.
Every so often, a well-placed "Here we fucking go" chant
can be great.
can be great.
Like only if it's like at really inappropriate times.
No, I went to see Blur, and they were doing song 2, and the start of song 2 is like, but like he started out doing it like just like really slowly, and the crowd matched the timing of his drums to the timing of their chant, and it sped up as it went on. And Damon Albarn looked pretty impressed.
Or,
Even though you could all reach here.
or threatened. Who knows?
Oh, Glasgow! That's what they always say.
Is that what you say?
Oi oi! Fuck life. So, How to Train Your Dragon is what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Laura?
I thought it was good. I wasn't the biggest fan of the first one. I just thought the first one was a good effort. So I think it's on par with this one. I really enjoyed the dragon design. It was really cool. I felt that Hiccup's mum, her wearing, it's not a dragon, it's a wearing, was really, really cool. Looked like owl-like.
Do we wyvern?
Well, yeah, 'cause it only has 2 legs. It's not 4 legs. So it's a wyvern.
Ooh.
God damn it. And I felt that it did drag in the middle, but not at the point that you're talking about. I felt,
Dead dragon in the middle.
I felt there was certainly a dramatic moment that I turned to Alan
Yeah.
and said,
Ah.
"Oh, is it ending right now? Because that'd be really cool if it ended there." But the big "come on" speech.
It was never going to end.
No, but I honestly thought it was.
Like you're just sitting there going, "Holy fucking shit! It's going to Toy Story 3 is," and like.
Yeah, it felt like the end of The Empire Strikes Back. At that point, I
Yeah.
thought.
See, like, it's funny you should say that because I do remember at a point thinking they're going to Empire Strikes Back it. But,
Yeah, and then like the third one will be like the big kind of siege on the bad guys or whatever.
Yeah.
But then it went on, and then after that, I thought the ending was pretty cool
Yeah.
with all the, especially Toothless like facing off against the big
Yeah,
guy and stuff. Was
So, I
cool.
mean, like this movie
Love
again, it's a prime example of why I do love animated films. Like, other than the fact that I think they're aesthetically brilliant, like the direction you get in these films, you can't do in real life. You just can't do it. Like, again, all the sequences where the dragons flying around, all the structures and stuff, all looks excellent. Like, I love how creative they get with it, the same as they do in Kung Fu Panda.
And once we can make dragons, we'll do that. You know what I mean? Start a
But
camera
they're
to
going to be cameraman dragons.
yeah,
Cameraman dragons.
Yeah. no problem. Just need to figure
Surely,
it out.
there's like, has anybody attached like a proper production, what's the word I'm looking for? Value, not value. Production quality
Yeah.
camera to one of those quadricopter things.
What is a quadricopter?
It's like
A helicopter for
it's like
force.
4. Yeah, it's like imagine the
I'm fairly sure
Avengers helicarrier,
Mhm.
but tiny,
it's the helicopter.
big enough to have a gun mounted on it and a crap camera because they exist.
I would imagine that, YouTube, probably someone's done that.
Is that like if you get good at those things, then you could make
Dragons.
films? You can make dragons. You can make films with the direction as good as like Kung Fu Panda 2 and.
Do you want like dragon point of view shots? Is that what you're?
No, I just mean like you can't really get shots where the camera moves so rapidly at like all these kind of crazy angles all the time because it's grounded in
It's
reality.
limited. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's on a kind of single rig that can move up and down and forward and back, but can't do all the crazy shit that.
Ah, the right too. They did some crazy shit with that camera.
Yeah, it did. But like, it didn't like. See, the next time you watch something like How to Train Your Dragon,
Yeah.
look for the shots in it that just couldn't be done in real life. You'll know what I'm talking about when you see them.
I know what you're saying, but I don't know why immediately I'm thinking like, see, because I mean, me and you had that chat about it's like, man, it's like the good thing about animated movies is the camera can be anywhere and you could have any kind of shot. Immediately I just think of like, well, see in the Avengers, the fucking camera was anywhere it wanted it to be, and I loved that. Like all the action sequences,
Yeah,
those
they
were
managed
not
to.
looked fucking.
They
super.
managed to trick it, like especially in those like big sequences where it went from character to character.
Yeah.
But it felt like an animated movie at those points.
Well, what you're saying is right about like when I watched Tintin, like that is exactly what I thought. Like there's that whole like train chase sequence,
Yeah, that was good.
and that looked incredible.
Mhm.
How the rest of it was good.
Again, that was Spielberg, and you're like, he's a good director, but it's like what happens when you get the caliber of Spielberg and say, right, animated film, and you can do whatever you want with the camera, put it anywhere you want, any sequence, any angle, make it fly in any direction. Yeah. It's like we were watching MI4, and you hadn't seen MI4 before. It was like Brad Bird who just
I said that to you during MI4.
Yeah.
You can tell that he started off doing animated movies because he's acting like the camera can do anything.
Some of the angles are just like,
Look, there's that shot where Tom Cruise is chasing the villain like through the plaza of the hotel, and the camera's like a top-down thing, and it goes over the buildings but still manages to track them perfectly.
Yeah,
that was excellent. That's such a great shot.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good movie.
That is.
I was so unprepared for that. How much I enjoyed that movie. You've not seen How to Train Your Dragon still, have you?
Sorry, I was told it was really bad by one of my friends.
Do you trust this person's opinion?
They ended up doing a wee bit wild card.
Did you like the first one?
I've never seen the first one.
Okay.
Which
That's weird. I've not met anyone who doesn't.
well,
doesn't like
she loved
both of
the
them.
first one. She loved the first one, and then
But the second one isn't that far off.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
like
I don't know.
It's a great sequel because like this is exactly how these characters should progress.
I think a lot of the mother-son stuff she didn't really
I liked
believe
all
in.
that. I genuinely
So,
thought it was all excellent.
But like, it's so weird to kind of me channel her opinions when I've not seen it and can't offer anything back.
Okay.
Sean brought up a point to me that I do agree with, that like the Hiccup should have been more pissed off at his mum,
Yeah.
because like she says like, oh, I had to leave because your dad was treating the dragons badly and I like the dragons and stuff and I was just fed up with him. Like, no, that's fine, like if you're pissed off at the husband, but that's nothing to do with Hiccup. Like you should at least feel bad that you're abandoning your son. She doesn't really give any explanation for that, and he seems fine with that.
Doesn't Mother Simpson it
See,
enough?
Yeah, exactly.
I kind of thought that as well, but then like something later happens with just even Hiccup's idea of how he's wanting to sort everything out. You're just like, what the are you serious? That's never going to work. But he's so confident in his ability, I guess, to negotiate. You're like,
Not even that.
it's like, man, I kind of get why he's not so mad. It's like he's this character I know enough about where I'm like, I'm not surprised. I mean, anybody else would, but for you, I don't know why you're reacting in a way where for this character I understand it, but for anybody else they'd be super fucking raging.
I didn't think it was that bad because in the entirety of the first film and in the start of the second movie, they do a good job even of making him seem like he actually misses her, like he misses just not having a mother and not knowing who she was and stuff. That like when he meets her, that far outweighs any pissed off.
Do they? I can't really remember. Do they mention the mother much in the first one?
Yeah,
I think so.
It's
Yeah.
like he dwells on it a couple of times in the first one.
That's pretty cool.
Do you think as well, because again, when you find like how it went down, I mean, Hiccup didn't really know her as a person, so therefore
Yeah, no, at all. Yeah.
exactly. So you're like, it's almost like that's your mother, but again, he doesn't know this person enough to be mad at her because
But by the same token, you say he doesn't know that well enough to be pleased.
To have any
see
reason
her.
to like her, yeah.
no, I guess
Apart
that's
from her
true.
badass like mask and stuff that she has, like she has a really cool outfit.
And the fact that she managed to get a secret out of Toothless.
She did.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Toothless's face in that entire scene was excellent.
He's like, did you know you could do that?
Yeah. Again,
Yeah.
little things in the film. I think I mentioned it last week when me and Paco were talking about it. I really enjoyed it. It's just the little background gags with the dragons. It's kind of like it's like when you watch Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs too, and then he's trying to blow out his cake, but he can't. But then the monk, but Steve comes over and is trying to blow out and is confused. But the scene's not about him, but he's in the background doing it. It's really funny. For me, when that happens in like How to Train Your Dragon 2, is when they take Hiccup's like weapon and they throw it away, and the dragon goes and fetches it and brings it back. He's like, and then he tries to throw it away again, and it's like, oh, the dragon's playing fetch. I was like, that's that. I really, really love that.
All the bits where they make the dragons seem like dogs is just great in general.
Mm-hmm. Like even like the like total massive dragon where he goes to cuddle his kind of, you know, companion, he just kind of flops on him. I thought it's again adorable.
Could you tell us about Tammy?
Yeah.
Tammy.
Okay. So as I didn't get a chance to see. Was it In the Cold of July? Is that what it's called?
Cold in July, I think.
Cold in July, which I really would like to have, but no, it didn't happen. And in terms of Transformers, I mean, I really am taking a stand. I've never want to see that film, even for free. I don't want to see it. And
for free at 10 in the morning is the optimum way to see that.
For free, 10 in the morning. I'm like, no. Even though that was like most films.
It'll be early in the day. Just don't have to worry about it. For the
Most films, I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, no, I've fucking had enough of this shit, and I'm taking a stand. So I was like, okay, what else is out? And it was Tammy, the Melissa McCarthy movie, starring Susan Sarandon, Dan Aykroyd, Gary Cole, and Alison Janney, and Kathy Bates.
Directed by her husband.
Whose husband?
Melissa McCarthy's.
Who's her husband?
Ben Falcone, who was the air marshal.
Is he like a Gotham crime mob?
Yes, yeah.
And what?
He was the air marshal in Bridesmaid.
Oh, right. Stove?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wait, no, that's not a... Stove was the flight attendant.
Yeah, I think that they co-wrote the script, and it's produced through Adam McKay, Will Ferrell's, Gary Sanchez.
Did you say CJ from the West Wings?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shouldn't it?
she plays Tammy's mum.
And Susan Sarandon plays her grandmother?
Yeah.
But there can't be that big an age
Again,
gap
I
between
think
Sarandon.
that's part of the gag. Is you're like, all right, well, you know, how young is she supposed to be? It's like, yeah, you obviously wouldn't cast her as her mum and as her granny, but yeah, okay, well, that's kind of funny, I suppose. But yeah, the Tammy again. I remember watching the trailer with Paco, and immediately I was like, you know, you just kind of shake your head. You're like, right. So what's the comedy here? Is that Melissa McCarthy is being repulsive, loud, overweight, and doing a lot of clumsy shit that overweight folk like do that's really funny, like trying to go, you know, jump over like bars and tills, and like just being really kind of.
She's like if Kevin James had a kid in Joe Brand.
See, immediately I was like, see if this was the lead was a guy, it would be Kevin James, because that's it. But yeah, the film Tammy. So it's about like. Melissa McCarthy plays Tammy, who works at this burger joint, is late too many times and gets fired, and then she decides that like she's in a really big huff, finds that her husband is cheating on her with Toni Collette, who again is only in it for 10 minutes, and she gets really annoyed, goes to see her mum, and wants to just take the car and get out of that town and, you know, chill out. The only catch is her car's broke, but her granny's isn't, so Susan Sarandon, being her granny's like, yeah, I'll come with you, I've always wanted to see Niagara Falls, let's go on a big road trip. And so she takes her granny, who drinks way too much and doesn't have all of her, you know, her pills, and they go to bars, they kind of get drunk, they're very loud, they're very obnoxious, whatever. And again, it's just it really is just that, and I'm like, it's not funny in the slightest. And then they try and add in the whole, well, you know, she's acting all like confident in that, but really deep down, she's, you know, a bit self-conscious about some stuff, and she's got issues. Because I mean, her and her granny go to a bar and they meet Gary Cole and his son. Looks like something might happen. It does with Susan Sarandon and Gary Cole, but the guy, she tries to make a move. He's like, no, I'm not into you. But then later on, when they're at a different place, they show up. He tries to make a move, and Melissa McCarthy for some reason is like, "Oh, I'm married still, so I don't think I should." Which is completely shit, because like 10 minutes ago she was all over him, but now all of a sudden she's like, "No, I'm not into it." Anyway,
is there anything good about the film?
No, absolutely not. It's an hour and a half long, and you're like, okay, but you've got this cast in it, and I guess Melissa McCarthy, big, you know, everybody liked the Bridesmaids and all that, but yeah, it's not funny. It's not funny. It's like. it's like a Kevin James movie. It's like, you know, if you're watching Zookeeper, you're like, oh, you know, he's overweight. He's being silly and being overweight and loud,
animated.
and that's it.
Don't forget the key point.
Yeah.
Fat and animated.
Yeah. So that is it, and they try and give you some kind of like, oh, you need to care about these characters. You just don't. You just really, really don't. I just spent the whole time wondering why Susan Sarandon was in it, why Dan Aykroyd, why Alison Janney. I was like, that West Wing money must still be nice. Why are you doing this? And oh, fucking hell, it was like, Yusuf said I, Frankenstein. I mean, I've not seen that, right? But this is definitely not, this is one of the worst films I've seen in the sense that, like, it's a comedy, but it's not funny.
You should probably watch I, Frankenstein. So that you have that low bar.
Maybe I will. I'm not going to go out my way to do it.
What was the low point of this film?
Just, it starts off, like, it's just watched it, like, remember we watched the trailer? It's just that for an hour and a half. And I was like...
But there must have been, like, a standout moment where you were, like, closest to face palming.
I face palmed pretty much 10 minutes into it because they do that thing as well. Again, kind of like you get in a lot of Will Ferrell movies where they let her improv lines or they let her interacting with someone improv lines. And again, I'm like, this isn't funny. It's going on way too long. Cut to the chase. And I was like, you just don't care. You really, really don't. And then there's a bit where she's going to rob a shop and they do like a wee kind of bit where she's wearing her bag over her head and like kind of moving about like a gangster, and they do like kind of gangster music in the background. She's in the car park doing that like it's
that was like the trailer.
Yeah, they have that, and then she goes. I was like, for God's sake, when is this going to end? Honestly, rubbish, absolutely rubbish. Do not watch it. There are funny things out there, and then there's just shit. This is shit.
Before we go on to the main event. I know you've read The Fault in Our Stars, but did you see the movie? Alright.
Did you read the book?
Yeah.
From what I hear, it's very
close
to the book.
I feel that I've seen like clips of it, and I'm watching them talk to each other, and I'm like, when I was reading this, it didn't seem as fucking pretentious as it looks on screen.
Like,
it looks, it sounds really bad.
We were talking about this last week about how like. From the trailer, I thought the same thing. I thought the dialogue was just really like over the top and cheesy and stuff. But like, I don't know, like within the context of the movie, it's somehow okay because he introduces the characters first and it kind of tells you what they're about and explains it better. Like when they do start talking to each other.
I know what these characters are about, and even through knowing what these guys are all about, I'm like, this still sounds fucking ridiculous.
I thought the same thing before I watched it, but I don't know. It somehow won me over.
Maybe it's just the transition of.
I agree. I thought the trailer was shit, but I was like, this was actually right.
I'll need to check it out and see if it matches.
I mean, apparently the writer was like on set all the time and like.
Oh yeah, John Green was
very closely working on it and stuff.
I kept track of what John was up to.
Is this guy been about for a while?
Yeah, this is his third book.
Is he a big deal?
Yeah, he's like a young adult writer. Like his first book, Looking for Alaska, is going to be made into a movie, and I would say The Fault in the Stars is his best, and then it's Looking for Alaska. No, he's got 4 books, and his weakest is called Paper Towns, and it's just.
Are they all like Boy Meets Girl type movies?
Kind of, yeah, but it's done in a kind of. The girl's not a fucking idiot, and she's actually quite intelligent.
There needs to be more of that.
Yeah, but one of the in Paper Towns, the main character is the main female character is called Margot Spiderman. Her name
Margot
is
Spiderman
or Spinkerman or something like that. Whatever her fucking name is, and she's a bitch. She is such a bitch, self-centered bitch, and I'm like, why all these fans love her? And I'm like, she's just a horrible person. She's a horrible person that drags this boy halfway across the country to find her because she's bored with life, and I'm like, fucking hell, get a grip. But
yeah, play a game.
Yeah, play a game, man. That's it. Get a grip. And she breaks into SeaWorld and shit.
Oh,
Like, what? But I'll check out Fault in Our Stars. I am intrigued in how. Hopefully, it'll be better than Divergent because the two main characters of lead actors in Divergent are the 2 lead actors in Fault in Our Stars. So.
Yeah. No, they kind of convinced me last week to maybe give it a shot, which I haven't done yet. I can
tell you, there's no singing at the start.
I'm open to.
Do you want to go and watch a cancer movie, Paco?
Oh man.
That's the worst thing about Fault in Our Stars is the tagline.
What?
One sick love story.
Cancerific.
Yeah. one sick love story. It's such a shit tagline.
This movie is not the kind of movie you want to have a punny, hilarious.
Yeah, because it's not going to like. Whoa, it's not that at all.
What if it was like it's cantastic?
Cancerific.
That hers was better.
I said cancerific first.
I'm sorry. Well, I think the best thing about this whole movie is seeing the hearts of young girls being broken, and just going into that screen and listening to the sobs and
The feels.
all the feels, and there's just one group of girls in there. They're just like, "Why is this happening?" They were shouting at the screen. I'm just like, "Oh,
Man, you're really in a dark place right now.
I am. I really enjoyed it.
It's fine.
Man, if that's where you're at just now, like mentally, then you will love the audition sequence for X Factor. Watching girls cry on that is like the best fun. Just saying.
That's not for a whole other year now, Paco. This.
I've been told my entire life I was a good singer. It's
Oh my god! My granddad.
So good.
I don't know. It annoys me watching that. Whereas, like, in terms of giggling, like, I like it when greedy brat kids don't get what they want and then they get tell.
Like my 16th birthday, what it was called.
Oh no, I'm just talking about in general.
Super 16.
Oh,
I'm glad you're not in charge of naming shows for MTV.
Oh no, I'm talking about like in the shop.
How about MTV Houses? Is that any good?
Houses.
That's probably it, yeah. Rich cunts.
I don't like that show.
I've got a show called Rich Cunts about rich cunts. There you go, Paco, blank check. How much do you need?
All the money.
You just write on the checkbook all the money.
But you can only use it once for like one thing.
Oh.
What do you get?
What? No, I thought you. Well, you're clearly going to do that show.
Well, clearly.
Made of pure gold.
It's like, let's set sail.
Isn't that the win condition for life? You have a boat.
You just got to sail up down the Clyde
Yeah.
with an umbrella.
Everywhere, it's like, I'm trying to remember the Jack Sparrow line, but it's gone. Lost it. About a boat being freedom. But yeah, I'm not Jack Sparrow.
No, you're definitely not.
Or any kind of, I can't remember winning. Can't win an actor.
Speaking of the Academy Awards, I went to see Transformers: Age of Extinction this week. Laura was there for the middle hour of it.
Yeah.
I
I can make a pretty good review out
I
of
mean,
an hour.
would say that's arguably the best ever of the three of them, because it is 3 hours long, like
Of course,
excluding ads and trailers, a full 3 hours.
I don't know how you'd fit that kind of compelling story into a simple 90-minute 3-act structure.
Well, I think there was an 8-year-old kid that shared your sentiment.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, like I was in work and whatever, and this kid, mum, just came out the screen and I said, "Is everything okay?" And it says, "Oh yeah, no, it's fine. It's just my husband and my wee boy are in there. It's just this one doesn't want to watch it." And I was like, "Is everything okay?" And it's like, "Oh no, yeah, it's just he's bored. He's really, really bored. He wants to go out and sit in the car." And that's what they did. And they came back and says, "How long's left?" "Another hour." "You're joking." And then she asked him, "Are you sure you don't want to go in?" And he's like, "Nope." I was like,
Nope,
wow.
I've got my DS.
I was like, wow, what, that's great. An 8-year-old
Do
kid
you not want to
found
talk to me, son?
Nope, shut up, mum.
an 8-year-old kid found Transformers boring.
When you can make a movie about giant robots fighting each other, some of which are dinosaur robots, when you can make that boring, like, that's a special kind of talent.
Is it anywhere near as bad as the other three though? Now that Shia LaBeouf's not in it.
Well,
Yeah,
see, here's let's start with that then, right? So it's like a new, obviously first of all, film's terrible, let's get that out of the way. But it's a new cast, Shia LaBeouf, Megan Fox, all the people on it, they're both gone. Everyone's gone. I think, yeah, there's no returning cast members whatsoever.
John Turturro?
Except for the voice
Nope.
of
Yeah, there's part of the voices. So Mark Wahlberg is the new star. And because Mark Wahlberg is a likeable guy and usually a pretty good actor, it takes away some of the because some of what the first three movies had going for them, and again, it's a bad thing in general, but at least it just makes it something noteworthy. Is that Shia LaBeouf can be really annoying and no, all that stuff, and it's really kind of grossly misogynistic and racist and.
That is spot on what Shia LaBeouf's annoying about. Yeah, well done. That was really, really good.
So the first three movies have all that, right? I guess to the film's credit, it gets rid of kind of a lot of that stuff. But
then what's left?
Yeah, it doesn't replace it then, so it's still just vapid and boring.
It's not vulgar. It's just
yeah. It's not offensive anymore. It's just boring.
So it's like when the first female character is.
Oh, sorry, it's still hugely misogynistic.
All right, so it's.
I wouldn't want to lose everything.
Yeah, so it like follows her ass into a room and
definitely
then
does.
face.
Yeah, and she is wearing the shortest little Daisy Dukes you'll ever see.
Right. Okay.
And I'll start with that. So her character is 17.
And And Marky Mark's daughter.
And she's Marky Mark's daughter, right? And she's going out with a guy who is 20, right?
Oh my god.
And Marky Mark makes a point of saying that is like illegal, and he can get him done for like statutory rape and all that stuff. And he makes a point of saying, oh, actually, there's this thing in Texas called the Romeo. You were here for this, Laura. You must have done this.
Oh god.
There's a thing called the Romeo and Juliet law, where it's like if we don't engage in sexual activity, then we're allowed to be together and stuff until she's of age. And then he goes like a laminated bit of paper with this law written on it. He's like, there, look at that, Marky Mark. So
wow.
right,
Marky Mark's just like, well, I'm a
shit.
scientist.
So first of all, right.
He's supposed to be okay with that then.
First of all, there's no need to have them be that age gap, right?
Just age her up.
Either don't mention it, make her 18 and make
Age
him
him down.
18, 17 or whatever. So that's where they felt the need to put that in, is it to say, I've got an underage...
Is it weird that Michael Bay decided to do that? Is it weird, or is it just, you know what, he sinks just even lower?
And maybe it's actress in real life.
Probably.
Like 20s
or whatever, man.
But what's more weird is that the character of this boy carries this laminated law around with him.
They must do that all the time.
Presumably, he's always getting called on that. You know, you fucking child rape and stuff. He's like, oh, actually, technically, I've got this little law here, so.
He's Irish, and is that your Irish?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Well, technically, you've got this little law here. Yeah. So that's jarring when that happens.
And it's
it just doesn't need to be there.
presumably the Romeo and Juliet law, like,
It doesn't
comes
exist.
back in right at the end.
No, it does not.
No, but that's the reason you introduce it, is so that it then dramatically comes back at the end.
You might think so.
I mean, again, that's Michael Bay does it all the time. You know, has those things, includes them because they mean something.
Well, it's because like Marky Mark falls in love with Offspring and like
Yeah,
it's like
hundreds of years
Yeah.
old.
Did they bro out?
Yeah, he's like, there's this thing in Texas about wanting to be with a transformer at a certain age. Sorry, got it.
So that's weird that that's 5 minutes they could have cut right there. Adds nothing to it other than to make Michael Bay seem like some sort of repressed
Optimus Prime is in a cinema.
So they find Optimus Prime. He's reverted back to his kind of old classic look of like being a very basic kind of rundown truck. And Marky Mark plays an inventor who is like struggling to make ends meet. He owns this little farm where he makes terrible little robots. And his daughter's he's trying to see her to go to college, and he's not really.
Yeah.
The wife's dead. They can't
Marky
get all the
Mark
money
is a
together.
scientist, people.
Yup.
He has glasses and everything.
So they go to this rundown cinema where there's loads of junk, and I think they're trying to like collect old
Buy
camera
parts.
stuff to kind of.
Paco, you're shaking your head. But
Is there an R2D2 just in the background? Like,
there's one word that is just gonna. I can't wait to see your face.
So in the cinema, this truck is parked in the middle of like the screen.
What's it doing there?
No one questions it.
is
there,
it
oh,
in the
there's a
premier
truck
seats,
here?
mate?
Can I
Can I
have
see your
this truck?
tickets, mate? Can I see your tickets?
So
It's in the wrong seat. That it moved.
they buy the truck, and no one questions. That's weird. There's a fucking truck in the middle of a cinema.
It's always been there, right?
So they take that back, and Marky Mark has Optimus Prime, and the government have after the thing of Chicago in the third movie, where like the whole world was fucking torn to pieces because of the Transformers. The government have like a kind of a no zero tolerance policy on Transformers, be they Autobots or Decepticons.
What are they gonna do? What are they gonna do against that army of Transformers?
So they're hunting
We've
down-
seen what they can do. Nothing.
They're hunting down all the Transformers,
Oh, makes sense
and
so far.
if you're trying to get rid of all the Transformers, how do you go about doing that? You hire some Transformers. So their zero tolerance policy goes as far as the Autobots and Decepticons, get them out. But there's this new guy who's just showed up.
He's
And he is a big robot, but I don't know, I'm gonna trust this guy. He seems pretty on the ball. So he's like this intergalactic Transformer bounty hunter who's
Is there
also
a
a
scene
Transformer.
Has a
weird.
real
How does he? Like, is he hired by Earthlings?
Yeah.
Yes, he
Kelsey
kinda
Grammer,
him and Kelsey Grammer.
So
are like,
were they chatting one day on Skype or whatever?
doesn't matter.
It's like,
Doesn't
hey,
matter.
man.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
No.
It doesn't matter that he hired a Transformer bounty
Well,
hunter.
like
It doesn't matter.
all the businessmen were having this big meeting, and they said we need to do something about the Transformers, and then suddenly there was just like ha 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 ha.
And someone just turned round in their swivel chair with their cigar saying, "Bounty hunter Transformer," and we're gonna get Frazier to hire him.
Although the bounty hunter Transformer is pretty cool. Lockdown is
is
the
the
name.
best.
He has
thing
like
in this
his
movie.
face transforms into a gun. At one point, it transforms into like a Sam Fisher style, like covert ops goggle type thing going on.
Like his whole kind of motivation, and he's basically there. He's being hired by Frazier. Well, he's going to get Prime either way. He's
Yeah.
there for Prime, and Frazier just uses him to get Prime. And you don't really know why he's there to get Prime. He's just basically all he says to Optimus is like, "I'm here to get you because the creators want you."
Yeah.
And that's really cool because you're just like, who are the creators? What do they want? And That's really cool. And
we did an ominous baddie. Give them that name. Sake.
Like in Lockdown, he transforms into like a Lamborghini, so his kind of transformation is really cool. He's got like the animations of the Transformers still look great. But he's the only interesting Transformer. You've got Ken Watanabe as a samurai Bugatti Transformer.
He's a big robot samurai.
Right. And then you've got, I can't remember, I don't even know the actors, but one of them is like an English. He has 2 Uzis and he's got a fucking trench coat. Why the fuck?
I've seen that.
A robot trench coat.
Why does it? And his parachutes, like the parachutes are fabric, so are they part of them? And
John
Stanley Tucci, John Goodman's in it, and he's this fat cigar chomping
Transformer.
Yeah.
With a robot.
A robot stogie.
No, after was the second or the third one that had the Transformer with the walking stick and beard?
Yeah.
Like after that, you know, fucking.
Oh yeah. No, he said he dropped the ball and we're not going to do that anymore. Twice. But carry on, sorry.
But then, for the part that I came in at was Stanley Tucci as this like Steve Jobs billionaire.
Yeah, very weird. Like, so obviously Steve Jobs, but if Steve Jobs was like a psychopath.
And wore shark suits.
Tucci good?
Tucci is good because Tucci's always good.
I know Tucci's always good.
Yeah, he seems like he's fully aware that this is a piece of shit, and he's kinda.
Hey, you know what's good? That's paycheck.
Yeah, it's like he gets that paper and just does that. Just does that. So I don't even need that.
So Stanley Tucci's company finds the carcasses of Transformers.
Yeah.
And he has Megatron's head, and therefore takes his DNA from his brain.
And he finds the metal which Transformers are made of.
It's called Transformium.
There's the face.
I love it. Transformium.
There he is. Viewers, look at that face.
It's the metal that they're made of. It's great. It's right beside unobtainium on the periodic table.
So he makes
see when you go for like any job, you have to hand in like a CV to make sure you're qualified, right?
Yeah.
Why don't we have that for writers? Like why isn't there like a set?
Because that's the because it makes money.
No, but people can't do it.
Oh, well.
Ed Kruger can't do it. These people can't do it.
Ed Kruger, I think, is wrote or co-wrote all the other Transformer films.
Yeah.
And it makes money. That's why they hire her back.
Why transfer? Why not like call it something at least a bit different, like mutatium or something, or like?
Because that's not
Morphium.
Transformers.
Morphium?
Put the word in there because it's part of the toy.
Changium. So they want to get this Transformium to synthetically create their own Transformers, and they can kind of sell them en masse as like soldiers.
And still zero tolerance.
Apart from the ones they make and apart from the cool ones.
Because the ones they make, they can control with big, huge.
Even though in Transformers 1 they make a point of saying that all the technology that came from Megatron is evil inherently.
Yeah, they didn't see that movie. So Stanley Tucci has.
Nobody remembers that film.
I do.
Stanley Tucci has Megatron's head, and from that he wants to create his own stuff, and he keeps programming it so it looks like Optimus Prime, but every time they build it, it transforms into Megatron. And Tucci's like, "Why does he keep looking like Megatron? I want him to look like Optimus Prime." So they rename him. They rename him Galvatron for no reason.
Surely that's some kind of weird nod to.
I'm sure there is.
A bad guy,
but so they.
Is he just covered in zinc?
Galvanized.
Galvanized.
So they hire. They build their new Transformer, who is Galvatron, who's secretly also Megatron. And even though he keeps already the one command they have is look like Optimus Prime, and he's disobeying that to Megatron. You think, he'll probably be fine though. So they send him out. And when you know
are you saying
it doesn't work? Yeah, he starts acting of his own accord, just like
maybe demolition man.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like Wesley Snipes. Yeah, it'll be fine. We'll give him all these.
It turns out that Megatron has transferred his consciousness through to Galvatron.
Classic
through his
Megatron.
DNA.
I know, right?
He's fucking metal. He doesn't have DNA. Then
no, to be fair, they are a life form.
They are, but
so like they've got like their own, like to call it DNA is stupid because it's called DNA.
They've got their own kind of
because that's what the
makeup,
structure of the chemical is.
No, like Optimus Prime makes a point at one point saying this thing in the middle of my chest here. This is called the spark, and then Mark's like, oh well, we call that soul. So presumably that is. So he says this is what contains our memories and our life force. They just have Megatron's head. They don't have his
hard disk drive.
So
it's a hard drive, So
I mean that's contradictory because how can Megatron still exist if they don't have what is as his life force?
Do you know what happened to the people that watched the first movie? They were in that cinema that Optimus Prime crashed into and annihilated them, and that's why it was there.
So they build their new army, and
All Galvatrons.
Like Laura said, what was cool is how the Transformers transform. Take that away because the new Transformers that they build transform like
blocks.
Yeah, it's like how would you describe it? It's kind of like
it's like in Tron when they digitize. It's like digitized.
Yeah.
It's really
it's like
voxels.
Yeah, they turn into like little blocks that fly through the air and then
really
like
stupid.
materialize.
Okay.
So it's like nanobots almost.
Yeah, but not cool.
So yeah, they can just turn into tiny little specks of like
cubes
and fly through the air and then reformat somewhere else. And it looks shit. It looks terrible. It looks really cheap.
It looks like a
How did the
video
dinosaurs
game.
come into it?
Oh.
Well, if you wait 2 hours 45 minutes into the film, you'll find out.
Does it not appear until the end?
No.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. First of all, the movie starts 6 billion years ago, 600 billion years ago. However old the Earth is. With dinosaurs.
When they said they were rebooting it, I didn't realise.
Yeah,
So
rebooting the Earth.
It starts with dinosaurs kicking about the Earth and stuff. Just dinosaurs, regular old dinosaurs, and then the big Transformer spaceship that Lockdown controls and is like presumably owned by the creators, whoever they are.
But the only reason they know where Earth is because Megatron crash landed.
6 billion years ago. This is a long time ago. This isn't the Autobots or the Decepticons. This is
Rebooting Earth.
So they fly in and they shoot out some shit at Transformium at the Earth, and it kind of spreads across the land and kills all the dinosaurs.
Thus kills all the dinosaurs.
65 million years ago.
And it turns them into like robot, like metal fossils almost. I'm going right back here. So then the movie starts, and one of the characters is walking up to, it's in Alaska, and she's like, if there's something of like cultural significance here, we're shutting down this dig. If there's something of cultural significance, we're shutting down this dig, right? Camera pans over 10 feet away from where she's standing, and it's clearly in her visible eye line is like a big robot dinosaur skeleton. She's just said, if there's something over there, we're going to shut this down. And then the camera pans over, it's like, oh yeah, did you not notice that big robot dinosaur skeleton?
Yeah.
So like, shut it down!
So after 3 movies, how come they're only appearing now?
Is it because again they didn't see those 3 movies? Like this is a new
sorry. Just in human history, I think we find normal fossils and not robotic.
Yeah.
Roboticized.
Like, it continues off this, and then like halfway through.
Can we stop talking about it? It's actually
No,
there's so much more. Like basically.
This is only the first hour.
So in Stanley Tucci's factory, Ratchet's there from the first movie. You know Ratchet. So they break in to Marky Mark, his Wayne, and the boyfriend, and Optimus Prime break in to the factory.
His Wayne.
Well, that's what he's been trying to do for a while.
Romeo and Juliet law.
Yeah, exactly. They break into the factory, and Optimus Prime wants to kill things. I'm like, Optimus Prime wouldn't want to kill things.
In
like,
fact,
that's not.
When Optimus gets woke up, the first thing he says is, "I'll kill you!" And Marky Mark's like, "Oh, calm down."
Hey, buddy.
It's weird. Yeah, that's weird, right?
Optimus Prime wouldn't do that.
They break into Stanley Tucci's lab because they need to find out what they're up to, and because for plot reasons.
Yeah.
But Michael Bay is not smart enough to think of a good reason, so it's just like, I don't know. Let's just put Marky Mark in a fake lab coat and say he needs to go and.
But it's
there
not
for some
Michael
reason.
Bay though. Like someone else.
Ellen Kruger.
Well, whatever. So
Michael Bay's executive producer and director, so you fucking better believe he had something to do with the story.
So like the Irish guy who's the Romeo to the daughter Juliet, him and Bumblebee drive in to the factory, and then Bumblebee transforms into his robot self, and they start wandering around. And no one notices that the Bumblebee's kicking around, and it's just.
Does he have a pair of glasses on?
No.
Yeah, big trench coat. Yeah.
But Bumblebee gets pissed off because Stanley Tucci's company made a better version of him.
Yeah.
And you see, like Stinger. It's called Stinger, and it's based on a Bugatti Zonda, and she looks pretty badass, and it's just standing up like this big huge robot, and behind her there is like an advert, and it's obviously based on like an Apple advert.
Yeah.
And like Bumblebee's so old fashioned, like what the fuck is that? And then
Bumblebee's
he
like,
gets
don't talk to me like that! And it's like, yeah, we took the original design for Bumblebee, which sucked a fucking dick, by the way. And he's like, no, don't say that!
And then Bumblebee starts like, he swears, and I'm like, you can't do that to Bumblebee, like what are you doing?
And no one notices in this big factory with millions of employees, no one notices.
Considering
Is this now trying to be gritty?
Bumblebee pissed at a guy in the first one, so
and
suppose
then
it's
halfway
almost
through the movie,
rebels,
Lockdown comes up, captures Prime, they go on the ship, save Prime, Prime goes and gets the Autobots.
Just talk 1 second. I think he's trying to capture Prime because the creators are like, they want to basically recall all the Transformers for some reason. I don't
So
know.
start at
'Cause
the top.
He's not happy with what the Transformers are doing, so he recalls them all.
Factory setting.
And like Optimus Prime is like he's a knight
He's a knight.
of the Transformer race or whatever. I don't know. So he's the important one. If they get him, the rest of them will
Yeah, we'll follow.
And so on this ship, they have like all these other Transformers, like kind of in stasis or whatever. I don't know, like they've got them switched off on standby mode, and they're all locked up and stuff. So the daughter somehow gets kidnapped and winds up in that plane. So they all have to go onto this ship to find her.
Why is it got?
I already don't know.
That doesn't matter.
I'm already lost in this fucking
There
plot.
was at one point where like I was sitting next to my friend Steve, and he was like
Are you
what is
following
going on? And I was like, I don't know, they're on that spaceship. And then, I mean, there's a relatively cool bit where they have like the spaceship kind of shoots wires down to kind of dock on buildings, and they have to climb down the wires to get off and stuff. There's robot dogs that are chasing them.
Yeah, robot dog.
That's an action scene. That was alright.
That was okay.
That had some.
And then they got off the ship, and then I left, and then I came back to when Optimus Prime, the Dinobots have turned up. And
Well then.
what happened then?
So yeah, they got off the ship and.
With the seed.
With
Yeah,
the
That's to
daughter.
make the Transformium. Yeah.
Yeah, so they have this thing called the seed, which is what they initially used at the beginning of the movie to try to turn all the dinosaurs dead, and that is what Lockdown wants to do again. Wants to take over Earth, turn them all like Transformers.
Oh no, Galvatron wants to do that. Lockdown doesn't want to do that.
Sorry, yes. That's it's too much going on. So blah blah blah. Taniguchi realizes the error of his ways, and he teams up with Marky Mark and his daughter and stuff.
Yay!
And they end up in China because China is the place to shoot things now. And there's lots of cameos from Chinese pop stars and actors who you have no idea who they are, but the camera focuses on them just for too long, so you're like, that was odd. They must be famous, and I know who they are. And I've not mentioned up until this point, but the product placement
It's
is
ridiculous.
like vomit-inducingly bad. Like, so much worse than any movie I've ever seen before in my whole life.
He does that.
But
No,
it's
but
so
worse, it's
bad in this
worse.
movie. It is so bad.
You're talking
It's
like
unbelievable
you're
how
talking
bad
like
it is.
this man.
No.
limits.
There is a blue, white, and black robot standing beside two big Oreo.
I know, he's Oreo
billboards.
branded?
Yeah. So he's like blue, white, and black, like the Oreo colours, standing beside two, and he's not relevant to the story. He's just standing there like, hey, check me out, buy Oreos.
And you've got like Victoria's Secret bus. Which
Yeah, like,
explodes.
there's a scene where like they jump through a bus that's in slow motion, and it lasts about maybe 20 seconds as it pans across the bus, and the bus has a huge Victoria's Secret logo on it. So for this 20 seconds, it's literally just a big advert for Victoria's Secret, and they're constantly like, give me a Bud Light, man, and stuff like.
Oh, I like near the end. I seen a wee bit of that because like some rascals were being rascals, and I had to kind of go in. And at one point, he's annoyed with somebody. He goes, "Hey, is this your car?" And he opens a Bud Light, and then it has that whole like an advert where he is drinking it with his guns out, and I'm like, oh yeah, well it's a Michael Bay film, right?
But like also, there's a point where Stanley Tucci, when they're in Japan, China, sorry, and he's drinking like some sort of Chinese milk carton thing,
Right.
and like the label's really visible and it says something in Chinese, and Laura's like, okay, I guess that's some big
Product
Chinese
placement
product
there,
that we
yeah.
don't know about again, and it's so on the nose. It's like obviously Michael Bay doesn't know what the word subtle means.
It's
That-
really, really funny.
Of course
that
he
extends
doesn't.
to product
Have you
placement.
seen
as
his
well.
films?
I don't think it's
Yeah,
films, man. Have you
so-
seen them
Josie,
talking off because these fucking auto cues stopped at that TV?
Yeah.
do you want to see, like, I mean, again, just I'm going to interrupt you there for a bit of light comedy relief. Watching 30 Rock, I was in the kitchen. Paco started laughing. He says, "Come and see this." And in terms of parody of,
Was that should we have our money now? Is that-
It shows you like the girl, I don't know her name, the one that was in Army Wheel.
yeah, the blonde lassie,
Like,
Jenna.
yeah, she was in like a Chinese TV advert.
Yeah.
It's just her drinking juice from a carton and like somebody slaps her for no reason. Like she continues like nothing happened.
So
Back to the review.
back to China, where Stanley Tucci and Mark Mark teamed up. The kind of fake Transformers, the synthetic Transformers, or try to take over
China.
China.
Beijing, wherever it is.
The China don't care.
Megatron,
China don't care.
Megatron's somewhere. I don't know where he is by now. He's away.
You Galvatron.
Yes, he's somewhere planning his revenge. Lockdown is trying to get Prime back. Fraser's there
So-
with a gun.
Lockdown hasn't been told, by the way, like, give me 5 minutes or come and help us, or does that kind of eventually
Lockdown is the main man. Like he doesn't take orders from anybody. He is on his own mission.
Okay.
He's there to get Prime, that's all he gives a shit about.
He's the main bad guy, and he is pretty good. He's Gunface.
Yes, yeah. Hey, right. It's only one of us who don't know who the kids from Transformers are.
So, yeah, big fight ensues, and Prime's like, shit, we're getting our asses handed to us here. It's time to call in some reinforcements. This is honestly the 2 hour 40 mark of a 3 hour movie. It's like time to call in some reinforcements. So they go back to
Oh, it's
Lockdown.
now time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they go down to Lockdown's crashed ship, and he says it's time to awaken these ancient noble warriors, and it's the Dinobots.
Dinosaurs.
No,
So
you
why
might,
does he punch the T-Rex?
because so here's the thing. First of all, you might think, okay, so this is some sort of connective tissue between the dinosaurs being made extinct and the Dinobots looking like dinosaurs. No, it's not. They never say like, oh, so we learned how to look at dinosaurs because we invaded Earth all those years ago. Nah, it doesn't.
Blah blah blah.
That
blah,
looks
blah.
cool.
Yeah, it doesn't. That's not how it
Wasted
happens.
time at
It's
this
like,
point.
here's a new toy, guys.
So Prime sets them free, and they're like 1 billion foot tall, and he's like,
They're really cool.
"You noble warriors, you must. I am setting you free. We have to take it to this guy." And they're like, they're idiots because they're Dinobots, and if you know your fiction, they're like just dumb as fuck. So they're like, no! They start fighting him, and he's like, "I'm trying to set you free," and he pulls them down. He's like holding a knife to their throat, and he's like, "I'm offering you freedom," while he holds a knife to their throat, and he's like, you have to help us in this fight." So eventually he beats them into submission.
This all sounds great. This sounds like suddenly the movie has
Yeah.
stepped up.
Where they're like,
Sounds like my ideal version of freedom.
so they're
Force someone to do something.
So they're like, okay, I guess I'll help you out. But they don't say anything because they're Dinobots. So they transform into dinosaurs, and Optimus Prime rides them into battle. As if and they aren't humiliated enough that he pins them down and puts a knife to his throat. Rides them like a dog.
Telling my freedom.
So
like a dog.
yeah, so
What kind of dog are you? Like a horse.
horse is too majestic. I didn't want to give him that level.
Sorry.
Like a trusted steed.
So yeah, for then the next 20 minutes or so, they ride back to Hong Kong to China and
20 minutes.
and have a bit of a fight. They sort of breathe some fire.
Yeah, T-Rex can breathe fire, by the way.
Yeah, cool.
Fraser comes back with a gun. Optimus Prime.
What does Marky Mark do in this whole film?
He is trying to. At this point in the film, he's trying
Does
to.
it, no, does it, in the whole movie, does he do anything of significance?
As far as I know, like,
Shoot
does he
things.
finds Prime, helps repair him, and then he just decides to help him.
Does he
Yeah.
high
Yeah.
fives with Optimus Prime?
Prime's got like
That's
a,
what they did the
he's got no faith in humanity. Like
Yeah.
humans have betrayed him, whereas Marky Mark's like the beacon of light, where it's like, God, not everybody's like you. Not everybody's a fucking asshole.
But yeah, Marky Mark's whole thing in this movie is that he's very protective of his daughter. She has a boyfriend he didn't know about. He doesn't approve of it. That's their story. The Transformer stuff is kind of
Separate.
not really that interesting to them because there is points where they're like they've just been in this big fight with robots. They have to hide out in this little farm, and they're just like,
Bickering.
I can't believe you're going to have my daughter. It's
Yeah.
like, you guys have much more important things to worry about right now than this. But that's really all they go on about. And yeah, like Tommy said, Marky Mark's kind of like trying to convince Optimus Prime that he has to still care for humans.
Is it worse than I Frankenstein?
No, I don't think so. Our Frankenstein was
Really bad.
it was really bad.
So rate the Transformers movies in order from good to bad.
A 3, 1, 4, 2, I'd say. Is how it goes.
Because mine are just all fours.
No. I mean like in order. Like 3's the best, 1 is second best. You know.
So say like mine's just
Oh,
four,
I get you,
four,
I
four,
get you.
four.
So this is I don't know. I consider it a spoiler if you want. Something happens at the end of the movie. Optimus Prime is with Marky Mark and his daughter and all their friends, and they're in a situation where their bomb is about to go off, and they're like, "We've got to get out of here."
Good original end to a film.
Yep. So Optimus Prime was like, "I know what I'll do. I have rocket boots." That didn't come up in any of the last 3 films when I could have really used it. So I'm going to blast off and fly into space. But remember in the first movie when I need a spaceship to get here because I couldn't fly in space? Forget that as well. I can do that now. I know Marky Mark gave me his little...
No, like remember that like old guy attached like massive fucking jet engines to him in the pyramids and whatever fucking one that was.
Second one.
Did that happen?
Yeah.
Why didn't he ever use it in the
I
third
think
movie?
we'll use it in the second one.
Alright. Well, it has rocket boots
Well, like
now.
you said, he probably just couldn't find them.
Yeah.
They're in some cupboard that you
So
couldn't see.
he blasts off, and then it ends with him kind of flying through space, sending out a message to the creators that he's coming for them.
Like, leave Earth, I'm coming for you, and then it ends.
What,
So
what then?
No, on his own.
What's Lookout doing?
Look out!
Lockdown.
Lockdown.
Peace.
Lockdown. I can't remember what Lockdown does. He probably gets killed. I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh wait.
Do you remember how was Lockdown?
Does Lockdown at one point?
He gets lockjaw.
No, I think I've seen that bit. Prime and him are fighting, but Prime gets nailed to a wall with a sword,
Yeah.
and then Marky Mark's daughter and her boyfriend get a car and kind of pry it out of him, and then he goes,
Yep.
"You don't have a soul," and he halves him. I think with a magic sword.
Yeah.
Aw.
I'll kill you. He's a real bloodlust, Optimus Prime in these movies.
I think because I remember I was like, I think if it was a Transformer you're talking about, yeah, he was. That was like, oh, he's history.
And Fraser shoots some people.
Just
Frasier's in it.
Who were your favourite Transformers out of all these? Like, not just in this movie, but like the one at the start of Transformers, one I think it's called Blackout, was cool as fuck.
yeah, Blackout was.
I think there
cool.
was one at the start.
Is that the one that
It was
attacked
the
the army base?
helicopter, yeah. And like the one Barricade, it was the cop car, was
Yeah.
also cool as fuck.
Was that the one that was it him or Sidewinder? It's in Transformers 2, and he has one scene and it's super badass, but you just don't see
Is that
it.
the big snake one?
I think you're possibly thinking of Starscream, the jet.
No.
Who's the big
I think
snake,
it was-
sand snake guy? Is that
That's
I
the
don't
one
know.
was a scorpion guy.
It may be Barricade or Sidewinder, but he just because I think the last thing he says, and you don't see for the rest of the film, he goes, "Damn, I'm good," and you're that like, oh, I was like, oh well, he was kind of badass, but then they decide not to have them, instead have some racist transform.
Lockdown's pretty cool.
Lockdown is cool.
It looks cool.
Yeah, but I'm still not
Is
watching.
Starscream in it?
No.
I don't know. No, I don't think so.
Starscream's the plane.
There's almost,
Yeah.
apart from Bumblebee and Optimus Prime, there's really not a lot of Transformers that carry over.
No.
The guy with the trench coat's alright because he has a robot trench coat.
No, it's a robot trench
Robot
coat.
trench coat? That's
No.
say no more.
You would buy one if they were on sale.
Got to be heavy.
Yeah.
Maybe more
I'm
slowly.
too small for a trench coat.
You could buy a regular man's coat and it would be like long enough to be a trench coat on you. You roll up the sleeves. Sorted.
You look like someone in the 80s music.
Yeah.
All the big
Like a
box up your head.
flock of seagulls.
But that's Transformers 4. It's garbage.
It's
Don't-
really.
That was an experience. Like just listening to you give me the plot was
It's
like,
really-
reassurance.
I mean, just so much explosions and like I know that's the kind of that's the joke with Michael Bay. It's all explosions, but if you thought Man of Steel was bad for things just being destroyed and blown up and buildings coming down, like this is so much worse than that.
I
With
don't
product
want to
placement thrown in.
too much, but we are running at 2 hours 45 minutes.
No.
We're
So you make the joke that his synopsis took as long as the movie.
the movie.
I actually did look at the timer and go, no, we're not. We stuck here tonight, didn't we?
but it is. I mean, this is the biggest opening of this year. 300 million
Oh, what?
in
That's disappointing.
one weekend worldwide. 100 something million in the States alone.
Really? Even
But-
because Cap 2 did really well.
Yeah,
in
It's
the
like
States?
yeah, but it surpassed
Ah,
it. Cap
too
was
bad.
like 90 something million because I was like, oh, I hope it doesn't surpass it, but it did. And I was like, oh shit, really? But honestly, since it's released now, don't get me wrong, we've had lovely weather in Scotland, and that. But when an 8-year-old is bored, I'm like, that is a great sign that they fucking are not going to eat this dog shit anymore because it's been dead. It's a shame as well because How to Train Your Dragon 2 hasn't been super busy either. But I love the fact Transformers is doing shit. It's so good.
Well, next week you can look forward to seeing Begin Again, which is Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley as like music producers and
Oh, that does look bad actually. Like,
Yeah.
I just made up
There's a
words
live
into that list.
album in New York.
And like the cast all came up and it looked great, and then suddenly it starts with Mark Ruffalo, and I'm like this, and then everything after that is just.
and also Boyhood, the Linklater movie
Yes.
that was filmed over like 15 years.
Thank God, a
Yeah.
good movie.
Oh, it was really good.
Have you watched the Jack Black one that he did on the
Bernie?
Bernie.
Yeah,
Yes,
no,
it's
yeah.
good.
is it good?
Yeah.
Is Jack Black like too Jack Black?
No,
in it,
he
or
does. He does sing in it, but he's not majorly over Jack Blackie.
Yeah, it's not shinin. It's none of that.
No,
Good.
no. It's not.
Like just before we wrap it up, because I'm guessing that's what's going to be happening soon.
Mhm.
Have you seen that Netflix have got like a original series? It's an anime
Tommy was telling me about that.
called
What is it?
Knights
What
of
is that?
Sidonia, which is a
The
hip-hop
Muse
song?
the Muse
Yeah,
song.
it's the
Yeah, so
anime
it's
of
like-
that song.
I don't know what they were thinking with it, but they have ticked off so many of the generic anime
checklist?
tropes.
Amazing.
So it is teenagers
Okay,
in gigantic mechanized suits
excellent.
fighting monsters.
Done. I'm in.
It looks alright. Like we've only watched the first episode, it's like 20 minutes long or something. But like, hopefully,
Boring. It was boring.
You would say that, Tommy. Whatever.
It was boring.
It wasn't.
There you have it. It's boring.
So there you go. A Netflix original series, which means they probably put money into it.
Yeah.
The animation's good.
Cool.
Is it?
Yes, yes, it is, Tommy.
Any other films?
No, that's the only one
Yeah.
that jumped out at me. Yeah. Like,
'Cause, I think it's after this week. Then you've got Guardians of the Galaxy. I think.
Oh, no, you get-
That's the very end of
No,
it.
that's the first of
Oh, yeah, we were- yeah.
August. It's Caesar and
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Apes
Dawn
out
of the Apes.
2 weeks.
Rise
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
Dawn of the Planet Apes.
Yep. Revenge of the.
Revenge of the Rise of the Attack of the Planet Apes.
Yep.
Well, that's good, man.
It does look good.
Mhm.
It sure does. And that is us. Joining next week for more of the same. I'll almost definitely have seen Boyhood Maybe I'll watch it again. And I'll probably watch more wrestling stuff on Netflix because
Wrestling.
you know wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to follow Alan in every footstep, then you can log on to his site, At Home with Alan. Yeah, he sits a lot, watches wrestling.
Was that just through his Connect?
Yeah.
That's premium only. You have to pay the premium membership if you want to see the
So
connection.
you can watch Alan in an infrared.
And see my bone skeletal structure and stuff.
Yeah, £100.
Worth every penny. I have some insightful commentary on guacamole.
Yeah.
If you want to.
You remember pop-up video? There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
Alan might be eating Cocoa Pops in it. Fun fact.
Oh, hey, right, listen, I brought some new cereal.
What is the new cereal?
It's called, I think it's called Milk Choco Hoops.
Right.
And so it's like chocolate hoops, kind of like Weetos, they get smaller. But there's also like white ones that I thought that'll just be Honey Nut Loops. It's white chocolate, and I was blown.
Do you know what I don't like? I've never had Cocoa Pops or cereal that's white chocolate.
I know.
Oh, there you go. Wow.
It's an Asda original. An Asda original series. So it's got money behind it. Yeah. So yeah, Johnny.
Does that mean you need to eat the whole box at the one time?
I'm resisting that urge. Purely because my bowls only fit so much.
Is that your bowl or your mouth?
Yeah, gross. Yeah, join me next week for more Raptors in the Kitchen. Hit that stop button, Paul. Ciao.
Drop the bass.
Secret after podcast stuff on the video. Stop it.